Bizarre Brain Comics. Ooh. Welcome, my friends, to Bizarre Brain Comics, and I am Gary, your host, and thank you for joining me. This time I want to talk a little bit about this book right here. It's kind of comics adjacent, because it isn't quite comics. This is Dungeons and Dragons, annual for 1986. And you go, what the heck? What the heck? Okay. And this is the D&D annual 1986. It's from the World International Publications for the British and European market. Published in Britain, the UK. And it is based on the Dungeons and Dragons animated show. It was an animated series very loosely based on the D&D role-playing game from TSR. And it was a Marvel Productions co-production with Japanese, see if I pronounce this right, Toei Animation. It ran from 1983 to 1985 for 3 seasons with a total of 27 episodes. I have them on DVD, bootleg DVD. And of course, the premise is that our 6 kids who were visiting an amusement park got on a Dungeons and Dragons ride, and they are transported to an alternate reality of Dungeons and Dragons. And they try to find their way home, helping people and fighting evil villains and stuff, guided by the Dungeon Master. Now, I say this is comics adjacent, but it's not comics. Not quite comics. This has had some fading from exposure to the sun. This is something you probably cannot easily find in this country. Probably can't even find it very much in the UK. I thought this is kind of neat, and I wanted to get it here. It shows. So there you go. Your Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I have never, even though I'm big into fantasy and stuff, I have never ever played any Dungeons and Dragons game. Or any of those role-playing games. I just don't get into the games. I tried to play one role-playing game once. I was bored out of my gourd. But I know a lot of people just love it. I have friends who play it, still play it. And back when I was in the Navy, I had friends who played it in the barracks, and they had this one room they'd get there. They would start playing Friday night. They'd have munchies and booze, and they would play straight until Sunday night. And I don't get it. And I had a roommate later, a shipmate, and we were roommates together. And he was so big into D&D, and he happened to be a radioman. And he was so big into D&D, and that and guns was his big hobby. And he used to do the same thing at the same school that I had gone to, or similar school to what I had gone to. And he got engaged, and we were going to go to sea for 3 months, and he was going to get married as soon as he came back. And he moved all his stuff over to his future in-laws' place, and stayed there until time to go to sea. And he had all kinds, thousands of dollars worth of D&D books and paraphernalia. When he came back from sea, and his fiance told him, "Oh, I threw all that stuff out. You won't be needing it once we're married." So, my gosh, and so many of it, even though I'm not into the game or anything, so many of us when we heard that, said that would have been a deal breaker right there. You betcha. That would have been a deal breaker. So I don't know what they had in common. Here we see these characters. Now the art, you see the Dungeon Master, the Ranger, the Magician, the Cavalier, the Acrobat, the Thief, the Barbarian, and their mascot, Uni the Unicorn, and their villain, Venger, the sinister being. And see here, it's prose stories, prolifically illustrated. And there are no credits for the writers or the artists, so I don't know who did it. You see they're pretty much on model for their character designs. Some nice illustrations. And then they have here in the center, it's a quest with a completely different artist and art style, except for the Dungeon Master. And this is a choose your own story, choose your own quest type story. And this has nothing to do with the main D&D characters. And then we're back to our D&D characters, gruesome goblins. And now that goblin there, that Goblin King, he looks familiar from something else, and I can't place it. I want to say he kind of looks like something from the animated version of The Hobbit, but I can't be sure. Look on some more. It's nice. I mean, some decent artwork. Nice little horse there. And then they have another choose your own quest story. Again, I don't know why they dropped in the character of the Cavalier, because I don't think he's in here. Just a little story. Actually, I kind of like this stylization for something. And this character here looks like he was ripped off from the Gollum from The Hobbit. And back to our dungeon. Now here, another story, and got an evil witch as a villain, and she is swiped right directly from the from Disney's Snow White, and he can easily see that. And I think there's another one. If I can find that one illustration, the Forbidden Valley. I wanted to show it, and I don't think I think I missed it. It's a nicely illustrated, fun little adventures for the kids. Where is that one story? That one illustration? Of course, I'm not going to find it just because I want it. Just because I want it. Anyway, what I'm looking for is a werewolf figure, but the figure of the werewolf was a Gil Kane swipe. So, at least it looks like it was. I can't find it. Yeah. But that's that. That's that. I just wanted to share that with you. It's a fun little book, fun to look through, kind of fun to read, and I'll leave it there. And I hope you enjoyed that. Please like, share, subscribe. If you have Dungeons and Dragons friends, people who are fans of the D&D, the role-playing game, the animated series, or even the more recent, like from the 90s, of the Dungeons and Dragons inspired comics, please share it with them. They might get a kick out of this if they've never seen it, because it is fun. And like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you have you ever seen this book? Do you remember the show? Please comment. Let me know. if you play D&D all the time, in any of its incarnations, or if you played it way back when, remember the satanic panic of the 80s and 90s, and Dungeons and Dragons was dragged into that fiasco. Well, comment on that too. Oh, geez. And remember, comics are art.